So I'll be taking a sample topic. I'll be taking check bounce case as a sample topic, and we'll try to understand that what are the important things that we can keep in mind. Now, a good lawyer must know all the available remedies. That's what I was telling you. Remedies available with a holder of a check. Now we must know what are the available remedies, what are the parallel remedies that we can explore, and what are the exhaustive remedies. That is, for example, in a check bounce case, all the below mentioned three cases can be filed simultaneously. Now they are non-exhaustive of each other. And in order to exert maximum pressure on the opposite party, at times we guide our clients to go take all the remedies if we can. If a client is in a mood to go for full-fledged litigation, we can tell them we must know all the remedies. For example, in check bounce case, you can file a case under Negotiable Instruments Act 138 NIA. That is a quasi-criminal remedy. You can file a summary suit for recovery of money under Order 37 of the Code of CPC. And you can try to lodge a police complaint under Section 406, 420, 506, etc. IPC as applicable. And if you are not able to get an FIR lodged, you can surely go for a complaint case under Section 200 CRPC as well. So we must know, once you are able to tell your client and make him understand that these are the available remedies and these could be the charges, these could be the timelines, anticipated timelines. There can never be a definite timeline to litigation, but yes, you can offer anticipated timelines of the trial. So the client feels very confident about you, and it will help you in lead conversion also. Now, knowledge of the filing procedure is a must for a trial court first generation lawyer. Now, we are not privileged people who will have munshis in their known one's chamber. We don't have any acquaintances as well. What is the best place to know the procedure of filing? Either maintain some good links, or what I have personally realized is that the filing counter is the best place to know the filing procedure, the checklists. And before that, before the filing procedure, before the filing at the filing counter, before that also there are a lot of steps that we must know. Like if I talk about a check bounce case, stepwise filing procedure in a 138 NIA case. You have to deposit the check within 3 months of issuance. There could be a case where a client comes to you and shows you the check, and you tell him, you guide him from the very inception of the litigation, that how to go about it. And if we always say that if a client comes to me at the inception stage of the dispute, then I can guide him to the best and I can get them the best relief. Clients usually come when everything has gone out of control, and that causes a problem to us also as a counsel, that we cannot give them all the remedies or the best remedy. Sometimes we are out of limitation period, sometimes we are out of jurisdiction, sometimes we are out of time, sometimes the parties are so into a fluid with, so we have to strategically then make our strategy. So what I want to tell you is that we must know all the steps. So deposit the check, don't delay the legal process once the check is dishonored. Speed post the legal notice within 30 days. Now, timelines also should be very clear to us. We must know. That's why we say Limitation Act may be a very small bare act, but we must know all the articles of it. We must remember it on our tips so that we can tell the client, yes, this can be done in this period. For example, a client comes to me and says to me, when should I file the bill? I must know it is 60 days or 90 days. I must know when the suit has to be filed. What is the limitation period to file a civil suit? 3 years, or what will be the limitation period to file this case? Or if the imprisonment is more than 3 years, then there is no limitation period. But if the imprisonment is less than 3 years, then I have a limitation period into my mind. I must keep all these things in mind, and that helps because client is also able to gain the confidence with you. Wait for 15 days and let the cause of action occur. We must know when the cause of action occurs. We must know that. And if there's a continuing cause of action, we must know the concept of continuing cause of action also. If the amount remains unpaid, then draft the case, file it within a month of the date of cause of action. We must know that. And we must remember this fact. I have learned this hard way, that legal notice must be sent within 15 days. That is a time limitation. No condonation is allowed for it. Though condonation for delay in filing of complaint can be done. A lot of people don't know it. And how do you know that? Either you read well, study well, or you observe well, or you learn in hard ways like me in the court. So we must know that for what things condonation can be done, for what things condonation cannot be done. So Supreme Court has said it very clearly. As far as India is concerned, I was very happy to see that a lot of people have joined us from other countries as well. And it's a matter of joy for me. So legal notice must be sent within 15 days. That cannot be condoned. So if the client fails to come to you after the days of bouncing, and if he comes to you after 2 months, you don't know what to do with it. Or you may draft a legal notice and send it and take the fees. And once you take the fees and then client comes to you and you say, oh, now this cannot be done. and that will be a very shameful thing for you, and it will be hampering your practice in the future, because this is a long process of generation of goodwill, and after a period of 20 years you just encash that goodwill. And as a first generation lawyer, growing that goodwill is very important to us. That is very, very important to us. Now, annexing of all the documents as per the prescribed format. Now, this was the thing that I was talking about. We must learn these prescribed formats and annexure of documents from the filing counter. The best place to learn all these things are filing counters only, because they can tell you the latest formats. You can see a lot of people filing there. Just ask someone, please, can I see the format? Can I see your filing? And you see those documents and then use it accordingly. Don't go for a haphazard filing. Do your homework well from a filing counter. Your half of the battle would be won if you have filed all your documents properly, because covering unfiled documents becomes a very tedious job later. Now, what are the procedural steps? We must know that. Pre-summoning evidence. Like if I talk about a summary trial or of a 138 NIA case, we must know what are the steps. A lot of seniors, a lot of lawyers, a lot of students read the judgments. Even during our internship days, no one taught us to read the Jimny orders. Jimny orders means the daily orders. Whenever, if you are planning to go for practice as a first generation lawyer, you have to read the daily orders, because by daily orders, you know what were the steps involved in the process of the trial. And if we don't know the steps involved in the process of the trial, the client is going to judge you. And client will get to know that this person does not have experience. And if the person gets that, and if the client starts losing the confidence, then it's very unlikely for you to maintain much briefs. So we must know what are the procedural steps. So for example, if I say 138 NIA matter has come to me, I must know what are the steps involved. It could be pre-summoning evidence. Okay. For example, pre-summoning evidence. Now, as soon as I file the case, the matter will be put up for pre-summoning evidence in a complaint, criminal complaint case of 138 NIA. And then I would have to get the documents exhibited and the statement done. After that, arguments on point of summoning will be done, where I will have to justify to the court that this is a fit case for summoning of the accused. After that, summoning of the accused will be done, and I have to get the service of the notice as well. Thanks to Supreme Court and High Court's orders, now the service of the notices can be done by WhatsApp, email, etc. also. So it helps a lot. And we have to ensure that the accused comes to the court, because then only you will be able to take the matter to the next level. When the accused comes, he files bail bonds, because it's a bailable offense in 138 NIA. Now framing of notice can be done. And mind you, if you are applying for any of the chambers and they are keeping a prerequisite for qualification of 1 to 2 years, the first or the second question will be regarding the procedure only. So until or unless you are not known to the procedure, it is very unlikely for you to get cracking into a good law chamber. You must know the procedural steps, because an advocate, it takes a lot of patience to learn all these steps also. You must know that also gives you a grip of the fact that you have seen whole of the trial. Framing of the notice, then cross-examination of the complaint. A lot of people don't know that cross-examination of the complaint is done under 145 clause 2 of the NIA Act. You must know that. Then examination of the accused. Then defense evidence, leading out defense evidence. There would be opportunity given to the accused that do you want to lead evidence or not. Then final arguments will happen, and then judgment will be given. And then the punishment, like for example, in the 138 NIA case, imprisonment provisions are there. You must know all these procedural steps. If you don't know these steps, it is very difficult for you to retain the client. That's what I say in a client management. You must know how to manage the client. And for management, you must know the procedural steps.